everybody, I'm Mary Wezel, Executive Director of the Van Wezel Performing Arts Hall, and I'm here in our beautiful box office. And I invite you to come down and buy some tickets from this friendly staff that we have here. And I want you to know that in just a minute we are going to be able to tell you about all the shows that are happening this year. So stay tuned, we will be back in just 1 second. Hello everybody, and welcome to the Van Wezel, one of the most beautiful theaters in the entire country. I'm Mary Wezel, the Executive Director of the Van Wezel, and I'm here with my friend and cohort of almost 15 years, Julia Mays, our fabulous Marketing Director. But before I let Julia tell you about all the incredible shows we have this year, just for some of you that may not know, the Van Wezel has been around for a very, very long time. It's owned by the City of Sarasota and operated by the city. And it was designed by a very famous architectural firm, the Taliesin firm, which Frank Lloyd Wright was inspired. The color, that fabulous purple colors, everybody asks, why is it purple? And I must say, that helps me when I'm booking shows because no one forgets the Van Wezel. There aren't any other purple theaters out there. It's because Mrs. Lloyd Wright found a shell in the Sea of Japan, and we have that shell here at the Van Wezel that you can all view, and that's the colors that actually the Van Wezel is painted. And of course, from one side of Longboat Key, you look over and you can see the scallop shape of the theater. So it's a really special and diverse place. It was built in 1969, and we really cater to all sorts of shows. We're going to talk about those today. And we also have a fabulous education program. And then the other component, which is so important to the Van Wezel, is we're the home to the Sarasota Orchestra, the Sarasota Ballet, the Ringling Town Hall, the Sarasota Concert Association. So many fabulous groups perform here. And in the theater, we're always very cautious because we think there's ghosts of the performers from the past here. And we, in fact, keep a ghost light on the stage to keep the ghosts keep them warm and friendly, but at night when the theater's dark. And I think, Julia, last night was one of the most special shows we've ever had. We had Glenn Campbell's goodbye tour. You were in tears.
I was in tears because it was very special. I mean, this gentleman was fabulous. He still has his musical talent. His band was here. It's mostly his children. And they were absolutely heartwarming. It was
and
very
Glenn has
touching.
Alzheimer's.
Yes.
And, you know, my mother died from Alzheimer's, complications. And for me, it was like so special.
Yeah.
And he was just phenomenal.
Great performance.
It was great. And it also sort of kicks off, the season. Of course, we've had Capitol Steps and Celtic Thunder, but we're about to launch into a huge, huge season of holiday shows. Why don't you tell me about 5, 6, 10 of them.
Well, we have lots of favorites, and I want to say favorites because they're all my favorites. Some of the ones, though, that haven't been here before. Winona, she's coming with her Rockin' Christmas, which is absolutely fabulous.
And she was in the news recently.
Yes, she was.
She rides motorcycles, and she and her husband were out motorcycle rides.
Because her husband is the band.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's the drummer,
right.
And they were out riding motorcycles, and gosh, a terrible accident. And so we're praying for Winona's husband that he gets full use of his hand back. But it's going to be a rockin' show, isn't it?
It is, and the Sarasota Ballet is going to present their Nutcracker, their version of the Nutcracker. And
it's
Mary,
new.
It's new, and
it's based on a circus theme. Clara runs away to the circus instead of, and I think they're going to do an incredible. We not only have one Nutcracker, we have two. We have the Great Moscow Nutcracker.
That's right.
And then of course we have Michael Bolton, one of my favorites, and then
we have a Christmas Carol.
A Christmas Carol, and then something special that folks may not know about. 2 shows are actually opening their tours here at the Van Wezel because they love this theater. The crew is fabulous here. They're really friendly. We have a lot of our stagehands come from the circus world. We have, Walenda. They used to walk the pipes to hang the scenery in the early days. And we have a really great crew. And so Dave Koz and Mannheim Steamroller are both opening their tour here in Sarasota.
Both holiday shows also.
Both holiday shows. Yeah. But the nice thing about that is it's an incredible economic impact for the area because they stay in hotels longer, they eat in restaurants.
That's right.
And then we get the first show, which is so absolutely incredible. And then we have the
And
Oak
let's
Ridge
not-
Boys.
I was just going to say, let's don't forget the Oak Ridge Boys.
I know.
I think his beard is as long as their age.
But you know, the nice thing about the holiday shows with these stars is like with Michael Bolton and the Oak Ridge Boys and Winona, they're not just singing holiday songs, excuse me, but they're singing their hits too.
They're classics also.
So
yeah.
it's really fabulous.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we have so many great Broadway shows. This year we have a fun show with Leonardo DiCaprio. Was the movie was Catch Me If You Can, where he pretended to be the pilot.
My favorite, of course.
Yeah, it was Julia's favorite on Broadway. So that's the reason we're having it here, because of Miss Mays. You know?
So please buy your tickets today.
And then of course West Side Story is coming in its 50th anniversary.
Yeah, it's a beautiful
beautiful
version.
production.
Yeah.
And then 2 Broadway shows. The biggest show of the entire season, folks, is Les Miserables. And I have presented Les Miserables so many times. It is my favorite musical of all time. It is great for young kids. It's great for, you know, people my
5 to
age.
95.
You know, not exactly.
5 to 95.
And it's coming here, and
we
it's
have
going to
8
be here for a
performances.
full week. 8
Yep.
performances.
8 performances, so
And
very
then
exciting.
one of my favorite ladies is coming, Kathy Rigby. And of course, many of you know she won an Olympic medal. And Kathy is actually the same age as I am, which I will not tell you what it is. But I remember last time she played Peter Pan, I said, Kathy, I can't even get up the steps because, of course, I have 2 knee replacements. And she's like, Mary, I started out as an Olympic gymnast. Plus, she probably weighs, what, 5 pounds?
At least.
But she is one of the nicest ladies, and she will be here in Peter Pan for 2 performances. And then we have a lot of other great Broadway shows. Hair,
the gamut of shows across
The
the
Addams
border.
Family,
The Addams Family.
the Gershwin Experience.
Yeah.
And the nice thing
Frankie
about
Valli and the Four
well,
Seasons.
that's, you know, that's not a Broadway show, but that's not what I was going to
True.
say. A popular act, because we do Broadway popular acts, like you said, Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, and then we have Paul Anka coming, and
Adam
then
Trent.
Adam Trent is a magician,
Yep.
and for the kids, Jungle Jack Hanna, and we should mention we have family nights at the theater. And family nights, what that means is that a parent can bring a child, parent buys a ticket, and then the child comes for free. And then after the show, we have a party downstairs. And we have food, and some of the actors come down and answer questions and take pictures. And we do this not just for little children, like sometimes it's for the smaller ones.
Yeah, we do
and
it
then
for the
times
college kids
for
also.
college kids as well. And so we have, I guess, 7 or 8 of them, and lots of sponsors help us with that. And then we have some fabulous shows, I think, for younger people. I was so sad that I'm just back from Africa. I went to South Africa and I was on tour. And listen to me, I sound like I'm on a
You were
Broadway
on
show.
tour.
I was on safari. And I came back and I found out that John Legend had canceled his entire tour, which was so sad because I was so excited about him.
Yeah, so
But
much for my legendary season,
there
right?
you go, there you go. But we'll try to have him back sometime soon. But we have Queen Latifah coming.
Which I'm very excited
And
about.
Queen Latifah sings jazz. I'm sure she'll throw in a rap number. It's such a coup for a community of our size to be able to get stars such as this.
Yeah.
And then I really think last year for our gala, we had Jerry Seinfeld, and I thought, oh my heavens, what am I going to do to top that? You know, because topping Jerry Seinfeld isn't
Yeah.
very easy. But at the last minute, I got Sheryl Crow booked, and I thought, oh, thank heavens. And we've presented Sheryl Crow before,
Yep.
Julie and I, when we were back in Fort Myers. And I'll just give you a little inside story. Sheryl traveled with her 3 dogs, and her dogs jumped in our pond. And let's say the water there, it wasn't of the quality that one should be drinking. So here we were with Cheryl's poor sick dog. They were fine, everybody. Don't worry.
Shared it with the lily pads.
They did. And Sheryl is tiny. She's really a little tiny thing. And you don't get that impression of her when you watch her on
No,
stage, do you
no.
think?
I don't think so.
So the gala is for the foundation, and foundation supports the hall so much. I don't think people realize this year we have a new grand drape that the foundation provided us with. They've helped us with so many things. They support education, capital improvements. These seats that we're sitting in, these
They
were
are new this year.
were new. Actually, it was last season we put in these seats. Thank heavens for the Selby Foundation, which supported us. We put $3 on a ticket. That's a capital improvement fee, and that allows us to do things like these new seats. There's a new orchestra pit, a new sound system. things that are very important to us right now, if
The
you were
hearing
outside.
loop that Sertoma helped us with.
Yes, Sertoma helped us with the hearing loop for people that it was very important. And right now outside the theater, they're painting the tower. And I'll tell you, we had to stop when the winds were really blowing. And when I saw that tower in, when Hurricane Sandy was up in New York, I thought, thank goodness we stopped our painting because, when you saw that crane go over. But it takes a lot to keep a theater running. It's not just the shows, it's so much. And then our education program is, I think, one of the best ones in the country. We've been partners with the Kennedy Center for a very long time. We do arts integrated programs and workshops with the teachers. We have school time performances, 25,000 children are served, and our foundation pays $50,000 a year just for busings. And no child is left behind.
That's right. We don't leave any child
and
behind.
What are some of those great shows the kids are coming to see soon?
Well, Freckle-Faced Strawberry is one of them.
Oh,
we have
absolutely.
2 fabulous shows already, the Science Circus,
but
Math
we have
Rocks,
Momix. We have Momix coming.
Motion House, Parsons Company. Those aren't all school
Well, those
time,
aren't
but
school. Those are
the
dance
Momix
shows.
Are, yeah.
But we have a Little Princess and a Little Engine That Could Earns Her Whistle and Skippy John Jones. So we have school time shows for the younger students, and then of course we have what I think about the Van Wezel that's so important, folks, is diversity. I'm trying to bring in a younger audience, hence the Sheryl Crows and the John Legends and Queen Latifahs and Boyz II Men and things like that. And then we have a fabulous, fabulous core audience. There you see the Paul Ankas and the Frankie Vallis and things like that. And then we're always trying to reach out with different kinds of, you mentioned dance. We also have the Philadelphia Orchestra coming this year. And
the Boston Pops.
The Boston Pops. And I'm so excited about the Philadelphia Orchestra coming because for 10 years, I was 15 years in Philadelphia. For 10 years, I ran a theater right next to the home of the Philadelphia Orchestra, and they are brilliant. And of course, the Boston Pops, like you said, sells out every time. And this is a tribute to Barbra Streisand. Did you know I wanted to be Barbra Streisand?
Yes, that's your favorite story in the whole world, and she hasn't given up yet, so I'm thinking that's out.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's out too. I wanted to be Barbra Streisand, and I would pretend in my mother's living room, and I'd sing into a hairbrush, and it never quite worked.
Yeah.
That she occupied that job really, really well. But
she's making a comeback
So,
now.
folks, if you come to the Boston Pops, don't sit anywhere near row 10, which is probably where I sit, because I may be singing along with a song or two, don't you think? And
I'm pretty sure you will.
Of course, we have a doo-wop show, and then you may find Julia dancing in the aisles.
That's right.
And then we have rock groups. We have the Beach Boys coming, and it's their 50th anniversary tour. And this is a production with Mike Love, and I think it's, we've had the Beach Boys here many, many times.
Yep, it's a great show. It's always been a great show, and Beach Boys out in the audience. The Beach Boys out in the audience. The Beach Balls. The Beach Boys will come out along with the Beach Balls.
And last time they actually brought John Stamos with them, which was so much fun for me.
Yes, as he played the guitar and wandered all over the stage.
Oh, the girls went wild. The girls went wild. And, so it's really lucky. We have so many wonderful things. Every night there's a different show. We have the 10 Tenors coming, which is a special Valentine hit. And then we're lucky enough that we are on this gorgeous, gorgeous bayfront. And we have Madison's Bayfront, which we have a restaurant. So you don't even have to just come park here, have dinner.
And stay for the night.
And stay for the night.
There you go.
And have dinner. We had a fantastic New Year's Eve last year with Madison's, had a great party with 500 people were here. And then the food is fabulous. So the thing is, this is sort of, something for everybody here, whether you be a little one.
And our traditional New Year's salute to Vienna is going to be fabulous
Absolutely, will be
year.
fabulous. Yeah. Booking is one of the most intricate things we do in the theater. I work with a booking associate, Melanie Martin, and what we do is we scour Polestar and Billboard, but I've had relationships with agents for 30 years, so they'll call us and they'll suggest and tell us, but we also go to conferences and we meet with every agent. And I recently was at a conference in Miami, and I think we had 37 meetings in 3 days, and you just go like this, but it really, if you can imagine, is like a checkerboard, because I'll book Sheryl Crow here and then somebody else can't do it and so you switch here. And earlier today I must have moved 5 5 acts just to get the Sarasota Ballet in for the Nutcracker next year. And so then you, of course, have to talk to the agents about whether you can offer the price. And I will tell everybody, the cost of the ticket starts with the fee of the artist, because if the artist is a big famous artist, a Sheryl Crow, a Dolly Parton, the ticket price, of course, costs more. And then people sometimes ask us, well, why is the ticket more here than it is somewhere else? Well, it's because of the number of seats we have that we can divide the cost over. But what I will tell you is Jerry Seinfeld said it was like sitting in his living room talking to the audience, because every seat is a good seat here. So, you know, you can pay less somewhere else in a, you know, a 5 or 10,000 seat theater, but you know, sitting here, it's so intimate, and I think that's the reason we won this last year, the #1 performing arts hall in North America in the 2,000 seat category. But booking is also a really difficult thing. And then, of course, you're dealing with artists that can sometimes get sick, or you know, a tour cancels, or they can't get enough dates put together, and that's very hard, you know. And I also have in a contract something called an out clause. So if, say, a famous star gets a movie, 90 days out, they can give me a call and tell me we're not coming. And of course, you know, everybody thinks it's my fault, but, and guess what? It probably is. But that's the thing. If you want to take the chance to have these big name personalities, you do this. And so booking starts for orchestras maybe 3 years out. For Broadway musicals, it starts 2 years out, with the exception of the Lion Kings of the world. And of course, you need to have, you know, a huge community. And I must say, Sarasota, in our community with Manatee, you know, we're one of the smallest ones that get these giant shows. And so we're very proud about that. But then I could very easily get a call and somebody would say to me, hey, can you do Crosby, Stills and Nash in 3 weeks? And if it's a star of that caliber, I can say yes, put an ad in the paper, and we sell out. You know, so it all depends on the size of the act. And of course, it only makes sense because with an orchestra, you travel with all these people. And then with a Broadway show, trucks and trucks of scenery, where if it's, you know, a comedian, you know, such as we have this Howie Mandel this year, just one man in a stool, he can move very quickly. So booking is key. We're in the middle of doing it for next year right now. That's what I spend probably 3/4 of my time is working on booking. And it's really probably one of the most fun things. But then you book an artist and then you go, oh my goodness, is it going to sell? And of course I panic every year. I'm the worrier. And you know, I've been very lucky in guessing fairly well. We check out the numbers and we also try to book, because the thing is, Florida is different. There's no state below us in Florida. You know, that's sort of the ocean down there. So they don't go from Florida on to another state on a tour. So we work with our friends. I was the president of the Florida Facility Managers. And so we work with something called block booking, where, say, they're up at Ruth Eckerd Hall, they come to us, they go to the Barbara Mann Hall, they end up in Naples or Miami, and then they swing back up the state. And that's how we get these shows to come to Florida. And so it's something for everybody here at the Van Wezel. And I think it's really one of the nicest things that you can do.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the hearing loop. I got a call from a lady, and she literally was crying because her husband could come back to the theater after so many years because he couldn't hear, and so this was really special for him.
And now he can hear what's going on.
And then we've got Sleeping Beauty coming, and all, you know, we have, I'm just looking at all this list. Lord of the Dance, The Pirates of Penzance, Itzhak Perlman, one of the most famous violinists in the world. And then we also have the Golden Dragon Acrobats. You know, it's
something for everyone.
Well, and every night it's different. The Van Wezel is important to so many people, and it's not just important to Sarasota or Manatee. I have to tell you a little story. The other night I was driving to the theater, and a lady flagged me down, and she said, are you going to the Van Wezel? And I said, yes. And she said, could you give me a ride? I'm staying over at the Hyatt. I came all the way from Cape Coral because I wanted to see a show that you had. So I can't tell you how much this theater has meant to the fabric of not just a city, but of a region stretching all the way down to Fort Myers and across the state. And, it is something that is so special, and we also like to partner with the Ringling. We like to partner with the local hotels, and we bring people from all over the state to see one of the greatest resources I think that was ever built for this community. And the Van Wezel is truly a treasure and a crown jewel of this community. As Julie and I have just been talking about all the wonderful shows, there are many ways to contact us. You can come to the box office. We have a great friendly staff and they'll show you where your ticket is. And also, I will tell you that is the cheapest way to buy a ticket because you don't have to pay for any fees. You can also call on the phone. It's 953-3368. Go online, vanwezel.org, and I will emphasize, folks, make sure you get onto our website because there are ones that look like other websites that will sell you a ticket at an inflated price. So that's www.vanwezel.org. Please join our email club. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. You reach out to us and we will be glad to help you with your ticket needs, and we are really thrilled to have you with us here at the Van Wezel.
Some of my very, very favorite performers that have been here that I really can relate to so much. Number one, and we probably haven't had him here in a while, is Bobby Vinton. He's a very close friend as well as being an excellent performer. And I love it when he sings, his whole family gets involved. He's just wonderful, and he puts on the greatest performance ever. And then one of my other favorites who I've loved so much is Neil Sedaka, because he always finds me in the audience, and he doesn't even know that I'm the marketing director or that I even work here, but he seems to always come down and he finds me and he sings to me. So that's my very favorites.
My favorite, of course, is Broadway. I grew up wanting to be a Broadway star, as I mentioned, and so many of the Broadway shows I fell in love with that have been here, South Pacific and Beauty and the Beast. But I will tell you, what to me has been a really reawakening in me is I never was a jazz fan. I never was a classical music fan. And so because I'm bringing these shows here, I needed to come see these shows. First time I saw Dave Koz here, it almost brought tears to my eyes. Chris Bodie, it was incredible. Dr. John and Aaron Neville. And then I went to some classical shows. I mean, to go, see some of the fabulous orchestras that have performed here. I'm thinking of the Detroit Symphony and Josh Bell. It really, to me, means that, folks, you've got to get out of your box. You just can't buy a ticket to a show that you want to see, because I'll tell you, the most I've learned about shows, because of course I love Broadway, I love rock and roll, but these new types of music that I have now experienced have brought a whole new meaning to my life. So folks, I can't tell you enough how important it is to get here and experience live theater. A night like last night with Glenn Campbell, you'll never have again. And I know I love to watch television and the movies, but it's not the same. And a very famous director once said that when you go to a movie, the movie is bigger and larger than life, and you sit back in your chair to experience a movie. And I believe this was George C. Wolfe who said this. But at the live theater, you lean forward because you're trying to reach that artist that's up on the stage. And it's a part of one night that won't happen again. So I really hope that you folks will come down and join us at the Van Wezel.